Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, April 7th. How y'all doing today? Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully, you guys had a wonderful week. Not too hard, not too shabby. Welcome to the weekends where you guys can kick off your boots and relax a little bit better. Unless you happen to work on weekends as well, in which case all I can say is sorry about that. Sorry for getting your hopes up. But yeah, it is Saturday. How y'all doing? The moon is still in Capricorn, and we got a number of aspects that actually we're gonna go ahead and discuss today. So give me 1 second here and we'll get right into it. Bloop. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome. So as we said, the moon is currently in Capricorn, and interestingly enough, it's making a stairways aspect here with Saturn and Mars on each end of the moon here. So this is kind of really interesting. Again, we have Saturn at 9 degrees, we have the moon at 10 degrees, and we have Mars at 11 degrees. And this will be around noon today. So very interesting paradigm of signs here together, right? Because again, Saturn represents father, whereas mother represents mother. So when these two come together, usually, you know, things are rather interesting in whatever way or another. You know, this is kind of a working together. There's a solidarity here. There's a, you know, kind of a couple getting together and really being able to push things forward. And I say that tremendously because Mars is conjunct this aspect, meaning that, yes, together as a union, you can move forward and get things done because it's Capricorn. So, again, this aspect today is going to be really awesome for, you know, not necessarily just mom and dad coming together, but even like couples coming together, right? Again, this is the I guess you can kind of call them like the ultimate versions of femininity and masculinity, aside from possibly Jupiter and Juno, which represents you know, Zeus and Hera. They're more of like the seventh house marriage type of union, whereas these two are more like, you know, the adults of the house, the mom and dad, right? The matriarch and patriarch. So again, these two energies coming together are really awesome. And being conjunct Mars is a really good energetic push to move forward and act as a unit. So working together is really going to be helpful during this day. Now, I did mention that there are a couple aspects that I want to talk about, and the first one we're going to discuss is our yod here. So in case you're not familiar with yods, it is a aspect that I really like to cover in astrology, in which the two branches of energy here like to work together and funnel their energy down to the focal point. So again, the focal point here is going to be the north node, and what's going to be working together is Neptune at the 15th degree and primarily Mars at the 11th degree. However, you can also say that Mars or the couple of the moon and Saturn are working together because they're all conjunct. And loosely make this sextile with Neptune, but because it's in 15, it's a little bit higher than usually I would allow. But because it's conjunct so tightly together, yeah, I would allow it in. So again, what does this mean for me? How would I read this? You know, I've already explained, these are couples working together and taking actions to get some sort of achievement done, get some sort of project going. And this is definitely trying to solidify foundations. This is trying to create structures. This is about, you know, being very responsible, very dutiful, very much achieving and getting results done. what kind of results are we looking at? Well, if we look at the sextile with Neptune, these are ideals. We are working towards our ideals. We're working towards our dreams, our fantasies, what we like to see out of us, right? And I say us because, again, Moon is working together with Saturn. So mom and dad have a vision. That vision might be a happy marriage, 3 children, 2 pets, 2 freaking 40K plus cars, living in a nice house that they're paid off now, and saving money for retirement, right? This could be their dream. This could be their ideal. This could be their fantasy that they want to be able to achieve. And Mars conjunct all of this is not necessarily saying that you're going to get that, but that right now you have the potential energy to be able to work towards that. Obviously, a type of dream that I just explained is not one that is constructed overnight, and definitely not within 24 hours, but it is a dream. It is a fantasy. It is a ideal for some people, and if they believe that in any moment's sight they can achieve that kind of desire, if you will, of that kind of perfection, if you will, then they're gonna go ahead and try to go for it. And they're gonna definitely seize this sextile moment to work together to really be able to grab that. And so they are going to then take all of these 4 energetic planets, and they're going to funnel their energy to the North Node. Now, what's interesting about the North Node is this is kind of the energy that we want to be able to move into, because the North Node gives us the energy that we need to be able to undo the South Node's negative influences. Not only that, the North Node is once again becoming reconjunct with Ceres, so this is going to be something that a lot of people will want to nurture, which is coming into your North Node power. Now, depending on what nodal cycle you're on, you may want to be chasing the North or the South Node. Just depends on what's going on here. At the most, everyone, or at least most astrologers, will definitely say that a healthy balance between the two is where you want to be. You want to be able to use the powers of one node to address the other. And generally the North helping the South, because South being the lesser of two, if you will. But again, if you're going through nodal returns or inverse returns, excuse me, then that might be a little bit different for you. Overall, what this, in very simple terms, because I've realized now that I'm kind of just like going on a tangent here. In simple terms, it basically means coming together with your partner, taking actions to reach your ideals, and again, the two of you will really kind of want to nurture that today. So in a small scale, this can just basically mean, hey, if the two of you want to have a great afternoon and go out for a movie and watch something, it might be a very good day to go to the movies, as long as you're doing something with your significant other that makes you feel happy. Sometimes we kind of need to alleviate ourselves from the burden of the stresses of the day. So this may be a actually really interesting thing. Now, if you want to go for something a little more complex, like the example that I've given you, you can do that. It's just going to be a little bit harder to do so. Now, that's not the only aspect that's going on today. Fortunately, I guess, maybe, I'm not sure. We also have this TriColor going on, in which the North Node is going to be squaring Venus. This is not necessarily a good thing, because like I said a moment ago, right, all of our energy is being funneled into the North Node, and then we're having a North Node square Venus, as well as a Venus square Ceres here. And so what does this mean? Essentially, this means that the direction that we need to go in life right now, and the direction that we really need to be nurturing, may not necessarily be a direction that makes us feel great. An example of this is essentially, imagine having to put 10 hours of work every single day for the next week. That sounds like hell, doesn't it? That sounds like something that's just like, nope, 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 run away. That may not be what you want to do, but right now, that may be what you need to do. Now, obviously, am I saying go ahead and do that? Of course not. That's not the only example. Depending on each individual person, the things that you may need to do differs from person to person. However, just know that what you may need to do may not necessarily be what you like or what makes you feel good. Sometimes what you want to do is not going to make you feel good. In fact, it may you feel uncomfortable or tired or stressed or whatever have you. But that's what a Venus squaring Ceres and North Node will do to you. You need to go into a direction that is going to be beneficial for you, even if you don't necessarily like the direction you're going into right now, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, even if it makes you feel stressed. That tension is going to help you push you into what it is that you need to be doing. And you know how it is, at least for college students during test season. You may not necessarily like to be doing all those projects or going to the library like 50,000 times or doing all of that research or doing all that crunching before a test or a project is due, but you know you got to do it. That's basically this energy as well. You know, that's another example of how this energy could play out. So again, just know that the direction that you need to be going in may not necessarily be the direction that you like. Now, I did say this is a TriColor, and that's because the direction that you need to go into also depends on this energy that I mentioned earlier. Bringing a balance between your male and female energy and taking actions appropriately to be able to reach this North Node. And, you know, subconsciously, Saturn, Moon, and Mars, a stellium, I should actually call it the Capricorn stellium, is going to be subconsciously working with Venus to be able to get to your North Node. So you may not necessarily like the things that or the direction that you may want to that you have to go into, but you may like the actions that you're going to be taking into the direction that you need to go into. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. As I've said before, you know, Moon in Capricorn, it's not a time for emotions. It's more of a serious time, a serious transit, especially being on top of Saturn right now. Saturn's just gonna make it even more overbearing on the Moon. So again, don't act with emotions for the next day and a half. It is not a time for emotions. It is a time for action. It is a time for progression. If there was ever a time right now or to, you know, implement your second chance, your second opportunity to really make do on the review that you've been having in your life, this is going to be it. You know, the next 2 days are definitely very good days for proceeding forward, because you're not going to be acting on emotions. You're going to be acting on the fact that there are things that need to be done and there are responsibilities that you need to address. So just keep that in mind. And last but not least, I kind of like talked about it a little bit, but you know, Ceres is trining the Mercury retrograde right now. You know, Ceres is trining the Mercury retrograde, and for me, this just lets me know that you really nurture this time period right now, between now and the new moon, which actually, if you think about it, we're very close to third quarter here. But you need to nurture this time period, because this is, you know, this is your review. This is your second chance. This is your ability to, you know, be able to start fresh without carrying any baggages with you once we get that new moon, right? So Ceres trine Mercury kind of really lets me know of like, hey, yeah, we need to really, you know, actually use this time wisely. I don't know how many people have been sleeping on the wheel But if you is, you need to wake the fuck up. Like, you know, don't carry shit with you into the new moon. It's not gonna be good for you. So Ceres is definitely telling you to you know, use that nurturing energy and really make use of this Mercury retrograde that we got going on right now, because it's not going to last forever, and it's not going to be this amazing even when we get our next one later this year, because we have a lot of things between now and that next retrograde. We have a lot of things that are going to happen, so you do not want to be caught during that time period with this, you know, with any issues you have right now. Not to mention, right now is a very good favorable time. Like, look at this. Throughout this entire Mercury retrograde, Jupiter and Mercury have been the only energies that have been retrograding. Whereas the next time that Mercury is going to be retrograding, everything except for Venus and Jupiter are going to be retrograding. That's horrible. You do not want to be working on any review shit during that time. You want to work on it right now, where Venus, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Chiron, and Pluto are all going direct, because you do not want to work on shit during planets going retrograde and going backwards. It's not going to be a good time for you. So yeah, like I said, just make sure you're making the best of all of this energy, making sure that you're working on yourself, trying to improve yourself, whatever that may mean, wherever that lands in your houses. Just make sure you're being authentic to yourself, making sure that you are valuing yourself, that you're putting worth on yourself. Make sure that you're telling everyone else to put some respect on your name, because damn it, you are worth it. Now take those actions out there, and time to get shit back on the right track. Because this new moon is going to be amazing. We still got about another week or so before then. Actually, yeah, we got about 8 days till then. So last week, it's crunch period. Make sure you use your time wisely. With that said, thank you all for coming out. Really do appreciate you guys being here and tuning in for our daily forecasts. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I know I got some extra content if you haven't seen it yet, which I think most people by now may have seen it. And if you missed yesterday's episode, is up there. Check out Friday's episode where we talk about not using your feelings as facts. The moon still is in Capricorn, so the energy is a little bit relevant. But yeah. With that said, thank you all for coming in. Really appreciate it. As usual, guys, stay safe, stay positive. I'll be catching you guys on the next cast. Peace.